It's the weekly setup. Da, 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 da. Da, 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 da. I think that's enough of an intro. Let's just get into it. As can be expected, yes, we are setting up another weekly spread. This is the one that we set up last week for week 18, and the one we're setting up for this week, well, the week coming, week 19, won't be here because we only have the one page. This was the brain dump that we did as part of the weekly reset. And then over the page, onto our next nice clean spread is where the new weekly is going to be. Before we actually start sketching out and setting up this weekly though, just flipping back to our current one, something that I like to do before I set up a new weekly spread is consider what worked and what didn't on my current one. So in terms of this one, the priorities list was much bigger than necessary, so it probably doesn't need to be quite as big in the week coming. The habits section worked really well, though when I was putting them in, I didn't sequence them quite properly, because I kind of forgot one earlier on and kind of threw it off. Still like the idea, still like the sizing of it, but do need to sequence the habits better. The task list section was adequately sized, I liked that, and so were the events and meal planner section, but for the week coming, I think I want to try my hand at planning out at least my lunches as well. We're going to chuck down breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I'm not going to plan my snacks, but I do want to plan 3 main meals. Yeah. Yes. The mini calendar was fine, no qualms with that, and overall, a pretty successful layout, I think. Still very much enjoying this kind of running task list with the Alistair style method that we've got there for the tasks, so yeah, we're going to keep that. With having done my brain dump in here though, I'm wondering as to whether I actually want to transfer all those tasks over onto a task list like this, or if I want to maybe schedule some of the tasks. So I'm thinking what I might do is I might have sections for each day of the week along the top. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then maybe like Sunday here. And then have my habit tracker, maybe the priorities list here, and then my running task list in that section. This is just a working idea. Let's flip over and see what it would actually look like set up. Actually, I think the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go put my border in, because I know I want to have my border, so we might as well start with a staple item. To do that border, we're again just going in with that green Tombow pen, so 173, and each of the little bamboo segments that I'm drawing, they are each 5 dot grid spaces. So we'll just go draw those in. And then just going around the outside to darken up those edges. Well, I guess it would be nice if I could touch your body. I know not everybody has got a body like you. Border's done, and it's time for the trusty pencil, ruler, eraser combo to try and sketch in the rest of the elements. So like I said, I'm thinking that we'll have a box for each day of the week. So 3, 6, 7. Habits, priorities, something, task list. That's the idea. I kind of want these boxes for each of the days to actually be square, so I'm going to need to figure out what horizontal spacing I need and then vertical spacing. Flipping back to my grid spacing guide. So each of these were 10 across with a 1 space gap, but that doesn't include the borders. So if we have the borders, then we've only got 30 across, so it's still 10 across, but with no spaces. But that doesn't include the space on the side. Okay, let's get the ruler out. So we have, according to this, okay, we've got 15 across because you don't have the one on the side. Okay, that makes sense. So they need to be 5 centimeters each. So 5, 10, 15, and then same on the other side, 5, 10, 15. So that means we need 5 by 5 boxes. This doesn't leave any separation between those boxes though, so that's something to consider as well, whether or not you want to have spaces between each of the sections for each day of the week. I'm not actually going to be ruling these lines, I'm just putting them in as guides, so I know where I need to put in headers, titles, that kind of stuff. And knowing that I'm going to want to put in those green lines that I've been including on each of my lists, I want that green line to finish here, so that means on, off, on, off, on, off, on, off, on. So I can either do a bigger header with no green underneath it. Yeah, I think I'm going to do that rather than doing like a 1-line header. That doesn't seem to be what I want. So 2-line header, MON, etc. TUE, etc, etc, etc. So those are where my daily boxes are going to go. My habit tracker is going in here. So AABITS, habits. And a very similar style to what we used last time. So just that box, but the habits header is at the top now. So Monday through Sunday, and then the lines 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18. Yep. Just gonna measure that spacing. 9 centimeters. Then 9 centimeters. That's where I can stop it. So I didn't really need the mini calendar last week, but I could probably put one in here and then put my priorities list underneath it, or I could just put the priorities list in. I think I might just try and utilize my priorities list more this week, and I'll just put it in larger. I'm also curious to what I want to use this space for. I'm not too sure at this stage, but this is going to be my task. And again with that Alistair format, so putting in the little initials for the days of the week, and then we'll just have the task list underneath it. In terms of this task list, I again want the green to finish here. So let's just check. Do we have an odd number or an even number? Okay, we've got an even number, which means that the green highlight should be here. Something to consider. Those parts are all looking pretty good. We just need to figure out what we want to do with this part down here. And I don't think I want to put in like a quote or anything like that. We might put in decoration. Big emphasis on might. We will have a think. For now though, we're going to go in with a Staedtler Tri Plus fine liner and write in all of the headers that I know I want so far. Oh no, it's gonna be Friday the 13th. Spooky. My friends and I typically try and do a kind of like horror movie night on Friday the 13th. We don't currently have one planned, so might need to check in about that. When I am down and oh my soul so weary, when troubles come and my heart burdened be, eraser magic, because we don't want pencil lines, and we really super don't want to leave any behind, because that seems to be something I do like pretty consistently. When it comes to erasing my pencil lines, I always leave some behind and then end up finding them like 2 weeks later. Thankfully I didn't do a lot of penciling in of my headers, because that's usually where the problems are the most. Like usually where I end up leaving the most pencil behind. Now something I know I want to have happen is have the final green line be one off the border at the bottom here. So in putting in my green lines, I'm going to start with the task list, because that's kind of going to set the scene for the rest of the page. So flipping the book around and grabbing my Marsh Green calligraph pen. This one came as part of the March subscription box. And then just carefully putting those lines in, trying to remain fairly straight with their placement. Just while I'm putting in these green dividing lines, our secret word for today is authentic. So now as these green lines are in, I want to kind of match their placing with my habit tracker so that they line up nicely. Just need to make sure I don't go too far across with these, because I don't want to hit the headers here. I also realized when I was putting in my headers, I'll just flip this around so you can see it, the Sunday header is one box higher up than the habits, because in this section I didn't have any spaces between the boxes for each of the days of the week, so I did the same for this one. But then I didn't do the same for the habits and tasks. Just something to consider. Anywho, flipping the book around. Habit tracker, we are putting in those green dividing lines. We're doing one here. Because again, I just like the idea of them lining up. I think it just looks a little nicer. And erasing this pencil line before we put the pen in, because it's a lot harder to erase once you put pen over the top of it. And there we go. So now as we've mapped the task list over to the habits, we can map the habits over to the priorities, because again, want all those green lines actually lining up. So while we didn't put the green dividing line right under this kind of header, we are going to put it right under the priorities one, because this is where that green line is. And the nice part is that because we lined it up with the task list, this one should go all the way to the bottom and fit in nicely. Boom, perfect. So how will this one work for Sunday? We map this one over, it means that that one's going to be coloured in, but not the one directly underneath the Sunday header. which I think I'm okay with. The nice part about the ones on the top row is that I can kind of have them colored in however I want, because they all line up with each other, but there's a gap between everything in the middle. I don't think that made any sense, but it made sense in my head. So for the green highlights on our top section, Monday through to Saturday, I want the green dividing line to be on the bottom, like where those little pencil marks are. So I want it to be like the last row. And if it's the last row, then that's on, off, on, off, on. Yeah, that's what I want. Again, erasing the pencil. Sorry if I sound weird, I got a fin in my mouth right now. I do not think that was easily decipherable. Flipping the book around again, putting in some dividing lines. I'm just gonna go the whole way across. I'm not gonna put in separate boxes because I'll just like bullet point underneath each of the headers and that will be sufficient. Oh, went a little bit cattywampus there. That's alright. Once you put your tasks in, you really can't notice if you've gone a little bit squiggled with your lines, a little bit off kilters or whatever's, and just lining them up with the other side of the page. See, this is what I was talking about with Sunday versus habits. The habits has a gap, the Sunday does not, but it's all good. Now, to think about that bottom section, while I'm thinking about it, I'm gonna go and add in these little dots for the habits. So remember, the little circle is for a list item rather than a task that I check off. So because the habits are gonna be checked off multiple times in the week, we've got the list item and then the completion. Given how much space I used on my task list this week, I might actually just save that bottom section for like more tasks. Just considering what, I've got this much space here and I used well more than that last week. I know that some of the tasks that I have are going to go into the daily boxes, but not all of them will. What we are going to do though is some more green lines, and by green lines I mean green letters, because we need to put in the spaces for the meal plan for breakfast, lunch and dinner. And I'm just going to represent those with B, L, D. So our general sections are in now. It's time to transfer some of that information that I need. In particular, I want to transfer my habits over and making sure this time to actually put them in the correct order. So the one in particular that really threw me off was the AM brushing of teeth. That one was supposed to be further up and ended up kind of in the middle. I think everything else is in roughly the correct order, but not hitting snooze is very much the first one, because that happens at the very start of the day, in theory. After that we have the AM face care and skin care, that makes sense, and then it should be the AM teeth brush. Pill, multivitamin, bed by 11 PM. I find that when I'm trying to do a sequential order of steps, putting in the starting ones and the ending ones first before I figure out the stuff in the middle just seems to make sense. It's kind of like when you're doing a puzzle and you try and do the entire outside border first. Yeah, like that. I am so much happier with these actually being in the order I want them to be. Fabulous. Now to go and fill in my meal plan. So tomorrow for dinner we are having mushroom soup. On Tuesday we're having lemon chicken. For Wednesday, I'm going to be out at Bujo Wednesday, so not too sure yet. But on Thursday, we have planned to have, I wrote this down, oven fish and chips. A nice easy meal for the energy slump that happens every Thursday. And then on Friday, we're going to have bao buns. We haven't planned Saturday and Sunday yet because we typically try to do the meal plan for a Saturday start, but I have planned my lunches for the week. On Monday, I'm having a bagel. On Tuesday, I'm going to have chicken pho. On Wednesday, I'm going to be having lemon chicken leftovers. On Thursday, I'm going to have a katsu bowl. And on Friday, we usually go out. And we usually decide about 5 minutes before we walk out the door. Not too shabby. Now, I'm not going to move any of my tasks over either from my brain dump or from this weekly, just because the day's not quite over. I still got time. I could do some stuff. For instance, I know I've done that one, and I have started drying my washing, so there is that as well. So, still got time, could still do some more stuff. Not going to put any tasks on here. But otherwise, I am pretty pleased with how this is coming together. I might just lock in the idea that I'm going to use this as an extended task list and put in the Monday through Sunday. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, dot tasks. And put in those green highlights. Just lining them up with the other side. There we go, not too shabby. You know, I say there's enough time to get this stuff done, but the day is certainly getting on. I'm feeling very good about the setup that we have for the week coming. I'm looking forward to planning out my meals a bit more. I don't have quite as much space for tasks or the priorities. I don't think the priorities are going to be a problem, but the tasks, we will have to see. As always, if you're looking for more weekly spread inspiration, do be sure to check out the playlist that I have listed here. Otherwise, team, thank you for watching, and until next time, bye! Oh god, I just choked on my own spit.